Michael Ogechi Abbey with Enterprise Express Tax Service. So today we are going to talk about what do you do when you have not received your tax refund. So here's a couple of things that you probably should start thinking about doing. First of all, the IRS does say to allow for at least 21 business days for them to process your tax refund and direct deposit it into your bank account. So you have to bear that in mind that even though the general expectation is that you probably will receive your refund within, say, 14 days or 2 weeks, as the case may be. However, they do allow for up to 3 weeks or at least 21 business days for that tax refund to be deposited into your bank account. Now, the other thing that you could do is you could call the IRS. You can call them and ask for the status of your refund. But a better way to do it is to use the tool on the IRS website. It's called Where's My Refund? So if you log on to www.irs.gov, there's a tab that says Where's My Refund? And when you click on that tab, all you have to do is put in your social security number. You have to know the exact amount of the refund to the dollar. And when you put that in, it will populate and give you a status on the refund. It will either say it's been received, it's being processed. It'll even tell you if it's been processed that it's being direct deposited. And most times the IRS website will also give you a date when that direct deposit should be expected. All right, so you're looking for three types of statuses. Has it been received? Is it being processed for refund? And has it been direct deposited into your bank account? One quick thing that I need to emphasize here is this. Make sure if you're doing the taxes by yourself, like with TurboTax, or if you're using a tax professional, make sure that you have your bank details correct. You got to have the right routing number, and you have to have the right bank account number. A lot of times that's where there are issues with direct deposit. However, if the IRS has an issue with the direct deposit, what they typically will do is revert to sending you a check. Now, that obviously that's going to take a lot longer, and which is why you need to be double sure that you have the exact correct details for your direct deposit. Now, here's another thing to note. If your tax return has any of these credits, the earned income credit, the child tax credit, and in some cases, the American education credit, the IRS does say that there will be a delay in processing your refund. The reason why the IRS does this is there is a lot of fraud that takes advantage of these tax credits, and they need enough time to ensure to go through the system and make sure that the tax return is a legitimate tax return. It's for your good, it's for our good. That's why the IRS does that. Okay, so you need to know that if you have any of those credits in your return, it is going to take a little bit longer. But like I said, there are ways to check on the status. Online is the best and quickest way, but you can also call them. But that's going to take you longer to get a hold of someone, with the IRS. But typically, give at least up to 21 business days, even though you're probably going to get it sooner. Now, with the state tax returns, those typically process a lot quicker because the volume is less. But even with your state returns, they do state, if you look at the fine print, they do state to give them a minimum of at least 14 business days. Sometimes it's even longer. But just like with the IRS, with the state returns, for instance, in my state of Maryland, you can go onto the Comptroller of Maryland's website. You can click on Where's My Refund, and it ought to give you a status on where your refund is. Once again, this is Michael Ogechi Abbey with Enterprise Express Tax Service.